So, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods. Text number 10. Archishyanti Manushyaha Tvam Archishyanti Manushyastvam Sarva Kama Vareshwarim Sarva Kama Vareshwarim Dhupa Upahara Balibhihi Dhupopahara Balibhihi Sarva Kama Vara Pradam Sarva Kama Vara Pradam Archishyanti Manushyastvam Sarva Kama Vareshwarim Dhupopahara Balibhihi Sarva Kama Vara Pradam Archishyanti Manushyastvam Sarva Kama Vareshwarim Dhupopahara Balibhihi Sarva Kama Vara Pradam Achishyanti Manushyastvam Sarva Kama Vareshwari Dhupopahara Balibhihi Sarva Kama Vara Pradam Archishyanti will worship Manushyaha human society Tvam unto you Sarva Kama Vara Ishwarim because you are the best of the demigods who can fulfill all material desires. Dhupa by incense, upahara by presentations, balibhihi by different types of worship through sacrifice, sarvakama of all material desires, vara the blessings, pradam one who can bestow. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. By sacrifices of animals, ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously with various paraphernalia because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. Please repeat this translation after me. By sacrifices of animals, ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously with various paraphernalia because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 20th verse, Kamaistaistai hritagyana prapadyante anya devata. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods. Therefore, the word Manushya, meaning human being, here refers to one who does not know the actual goal of life. Such a person wants to enjoy the material world by taking birth in a highly elevated family with the benefits of education, beauty, and immense wealth, which in this material world are desirable. One who has forgotten the real aim of life may worship goddess Durga, Maya Shakti, under various names for different purposes and in different places. As there are many holy places for the worship of Krishna, there are also many holy places in India for the worship of Durga Devi or Maya Devi, who took birth as the daughter of Yashoda. After cheating Kamsa, Maya Devi dispersed herself to various places, especially in Vindhyachala, to accept regular worship from ordinary men. A human being should actually be interested in understanding Atma Tattva, the truth of Atma, the spirit soul, and Paramatma, the supreme soul. Those who are interested in Atma Tattva worship the supreme personality of Godhead. Yasmin vijnate sarvam evam vijnatam bhavati. However, as explained in the next verse of this chapter, those who cannot understand Atma Tattva, apashyatam Atma Tattvam, worship Yogamaya in her different features. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter, 2nd verse, says, Shrotavyadini Rajendra, Nrinam Santi Sahasrashaha, Apashyatam Atma Tattvam, Gruheshu Gruhamedhinam. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. Those who are interested in remaining in this material world and are not interested in spiritual salvation have many duties. But for one who is interested in spiritual salvation, the only duty is to surrender fully unto Krishna. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Such a person is not interested in material enjoyment. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachar Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Chatyadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavri Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So this portion of the Bhagavatam is describing Krishna instructing Yogamaya to transfer the child in the womb of Devaki, the seventh child, to the womb of Rohini. And also Krishna is ordering Yogamaya to appear as the daughter of Yashoda. After she appears as the daughter of Yashoda, she will be able to cheat Kamsa. The transcendental plan of the Supreme Lord is that Balaram will appear as the seventh son of Devaki, because Balaram won't come out of the womb. Before he can come out of the womb, he'll be transferred to his eternal mother, Rohini, Rohini's womb. And Krishna will appear as the eighth son of Devaki. And Yogamaya also will appear as the daughter of Yashoda. At the same time, Krishna will be born as the son of Devaki. Same time. And because Devaki and Vasudeva are very anxious to protect Krishna against Kamsa's atrocities, Devaki and Vasudeva are definitely devotees. They know who is Krishna. So why should they be anxious about protection for Krishna? Isn't it? It's a question that may arise, no? They know Krishna is all powerful, he is the Supreme Lord. Who can do anything to him? What can Kamsa do? Kamsa cannot do anything. But it is the affectionate feeling parents have for their child, especially when the child is just born, is very, very small, that they try to give all protection to the child, and in doing so, they forget Krishna is all powerful. Because unless they forget Krishna is the Supreme Lord and all powerful, they cannot relate with Krishna as his father and mother. Not possible. So, what does Krishna do? Krishna arranges for his pastimes through Yogamaya, internal potency, who arranges everything for Krishna's pastimes. That Krishna will forget he is the Supreme Lord, and Krishna's devotees will forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And in that way, they will engage in transcendental Leela pastimes, where the devotees can serve Krishna exactly the way they want to serve Krishna. So, this is Krishna's own arrangement. Of course, in the spiritual world, always Krishna's pastimes are going on. His eternal devotees in the spiritual world, we are always engaged in pastimes. And in the spiritual world, there is nobody other than devotees and Krishna. So there is no danger from such demons like Kamsa. There are no demons in the spiritual world. And There is no death, there is no disease. It's not like the material world, it's completely different. Eternal world, full of bliss and none. So Krishna is always busy there with his transcendental pastimes. But Krishna is also concerned about the souls here in this material world who are forgetful of Krishna. And for their sake, Krishna does so many things he does. He creates this material world in a particular way, whereby these forgetful living beings, their material desires can be fulfilled by Krishna. But he does that not directly, through his agent, Yogamaya. Yogamaya in the spiritual world is making all arrangements for Krishna's pastimes. All arrangements for Krishna's pastimes with his devotees. She makes all the arrangements. The same Yogamaya also makes arrangements for Krishna's pastimes in this material world. So when Krishna appears, Yogamaya also appears. She makes arrangements for Krishna's appearance and activities in this material world. So as far as Krishna is concerned, whether he performs pastimes in the spiritual world or material world is all the same. For him, no difference. And because Yogamaya is making arrangements, Krishna is completely aloof from this material world. Even when he comes here, he is untouched by matter or material energy or this material existence, is completely untouched. So for him, there is only spiritual existence, spiritual world, spirit. For Krishna, there is no matter. But for the sake of these forgetful living entities who want to independently enjoy, Krishna orders Yogamaya to transform herself into another form called Mahamaya, Durga Devi. So Yogamaya comes to the material world and becomes Durga Devi. While she becomes Durga Devi, she remains as Yogamaya for Krishna and Krishna's pure devotees. Like Prabhupada comes from the spiritual world for the same purpose for which Krishna comes to this world. Krishna's mission. So when Prabhupada comes to this world, he also takes birth, like Krishna takes birth of some parents. But Krishna does not take birth from any ordinary parents. Krishna takes birth from his devotees, pure devotees. Similarly, Prabhupada's birth is also transcendental. His birth is not ordinary. Exactly like Krishna's birth is completely transcendental, Prabhupada's birth is also transcendental. So Prabhupada's birth and the suitable conditions for his appearance, for his activities, everything is arranged by Yogamaya. Now Yogamaya is present in this world as Durga Devi. So the same Durga Devi, for pure devotees, she acts like Yogamaya. And for non-devotees, for the rebellious living entities, for all the ordinary persons of this world, she acts like Durga Devi. What's the difference? Durga Devi is very, 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 very strict. She strictly follows the laws, stringent laws of this material world, which is made by Krishna for the living entities. So the stringent laws, according to the laws, she will both reward and punish every living entity for all the activities they perform in this world in order to satisfy their material desires. So sometimes the living entities, their desires are fulfilled in such a way that they enjoy some material happiness. And sometimes the fulfillment of the desire results in punishment, suffering. It results in suffering. So this is Durga Devi's work in this material world. So she is actually Yogamaya. She is actually Yogamaya. She is not separate from Yogamaya. But for the non-devotees, for the rebellious living entities, for ordinary persons in this world, for all the creatures, she creates illusion. She creates illusion. She punishes them if they do any sinful activity. And she rewards if they do pious activities. But both this reward and punishment are within this material world. And both are actually an effect of illusion. Simply an effect of illusion. Even this whole creation, Krishna makes it happen by his incarnation called Mahavishnu. The beginning of this creation is that Mahavishnu incarnates, appears in this world from the spiritual world and enters into the material energy which is lying inactive. And then he activates that material energy and he injects the living entities who are stuck up in this material existence, who are not liberated, who want to keep on enjoying, make big plans. So for them, another chance is given by Krishna's arrangement. And one more chance that you may try to enjoy, but when you get the human form, you will have the developed intelligence to actually understand that this material existence, the essence is only misery, suffering. Everything here is temporary. And to question, who am I? What is this world? Why am I forced to suffer? Even though I don't want suffering. All this is possible in the human form of life. So among these different types of material bodies, different types of creatures who are created in this world, 84 lakh species, different types of bodies. These are basically different types of bodies to accommodate different types of desires for enjoyment. This Krishna's kindness. And he does this through Durga Devi. Durga Devi arranges or gives the body through the through Brahma in the beginning of the creation, and then later on through Prajapatis, and later on through the arrangement for every living being to get a type of body in 4 ways: through embryo, through egg, through seed, and through fermented perspiration. 4 ways. Different species are getting actually born into this material world with different bodies, simply facilitating their different types of desires for enjoyment. But in the human form alone, in addition to this facility for enjoying in a particular way, there is also the developed intelligence to question. I don't want suffering, but why am I forced to suffer? This question naturally will arise as soon as the spirit soul in this world gets the human form of life. But such a question, the answer for this question, the correct understanding of who am I, why am I forced to suffer, will only come for those who are divine natured. So divine nature, Krishna makes arrangement that such divine natured people, when they ask this question, they come in contact with a pure devotee. They come in contact with a pure devotee. That pure devotee will explain to them, will enlighten them. Who are you? Why are you forced to suffer? What is the ultimate solution for putting an end to this suffering? But demoniac natured people, because they never surrender to Krishna, therefore they remain in this material world, continuously making plans for material enjoyment in different ways. Because they are not pious, they are impious. So they always degrade themselves. They always go down, 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 down. In the various species of life, there are different levels of consciousness with which living entities take birth in this world. So you can see the lower species, practically speaking, their body is simply one arrangement for one kind of enjoyment. And they also have to suffer a particular type of misery. Both are there. When we get a material body in this material world, both enjoyment and suffering will be there. Whereas the spiritual body or spiritual world or spiritual existence means only pure transcendental bliss. There is no transcendental suffering. There is no transcendental misery. It doesn't exist. Only pure happiness, unmixed happiness. Here, happiness also is not pure. It's always mixed with some suffering. Though under illusion, a person may sometimes think, oh, I am enjoying very, very nicely, I'm enjoying. I don't have any problem. I'm quite okay. I'm comfortable. At least presently, I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm enjoying life. So, under the influence of the illusory energy, this mixed happiness and distress, the distress is forgotten, or one becomes blind. One becomes blind. So, this arrangement is done by Krishna for the living entities who want to be independent of Krishna, who want to enjoy independent of Krishna, or who want to compete with Krishna, who want to take Krishna's position as the Lord of the entire creation. So, different types of living entities get different lording facility. You see, in human society also you can see somebody is lord of a family, somebody is lord of a small group of people, somebody is boss of some factory where there are 100 workers, somebody is CEO of a chief managing director, CMD of one huge multinational company having thousands or lakhs of employees. Of course, nowadays with robotics, that's all changing, but still. And somebody becomes the president of a nation, and then beyond that, they can't think of any position. The present day conditioned souls, human beings. But beyond that, there is also a predominating deity of a planet. That is for those who are pious and who have knowledge from the Vedas. For them, those positions are there. One can become the lord of a planet, and there are different grades of planets. So the highest planet is Brahmaloka. So when one reaches the position of the lord of Brahmaloka, that is the topmost position in this material world for living entity to lord over others. The entire universe, Brahma is the boss among the living entities. But all these controllers are under the illusion of Durga Devi. Harina, the illusion of Durga Devi. That Durga Devi makes them believe, I am the Lord. Each one in their own sphere, in their own circle, in their own position or in their own situation. They think, I am the Lord. I control. But actually here, nobody is controller. Nobody is actually controlled by the so-called controller. That we see. Today, I may be the boss of some few people. Tomorrow, I may be removed. Or I will resign and go away for some reason. Or I retire. Or I die. Then where is my control? Finished. Isn't it? So, and it sometimes so happens that today I am the boss of some particular person. Some few years later, then sometimes they change companies or something like that happens. And then suddenly he will apply for a new job. This person was the boss. And there he goes and he's reporting to another person who was his junior before in the earlier company. So boss becomes the subordinate, subordinate becomes the boss. All kinds of things happen because we are neither the controllers nor the controlled of the controllers. We are all simply servants of Durga Devi. We are serving illusion. We are serving illusion actually. So Bhagavad Gita explains that we are completely controlled by this Maya. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Krishna says there is a way out of this. Mameva ye prapadyante Mayan itan tarampite. One who surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna will order Maya Devi to release that particular surrendered soul. And then Krishna will take back us to the spiritual world for pure bliss. So that is Krishna's plan in this material world. So this is possible to surrender to Krishna, to know about Krishna only in the human form of life. But still there are human beings who, in spite of having this developed intelligence to question, to find out who am I, what is this world, why am I forced to suffer, still they are demoniac natured people who will defy the established order. They will never accept that they are controlled. They will never understand that they cannot actually overpower material nature. Foolishly, they think this material nature is some kind of impersonal thing, something impersonal, something which is we can lord over material nature. But actually, material nature, even though it appears to be something matter, dead matter, but actually we can see activity even in dead matter. You can see activity. Just like the seasons are changing. The seasons are changing. So today it may be very, very pleasant. But soon summer will come and it will become very hot. So changing seasons. And even if changing seasons, you may say, I can manage, tolerate. Okay, some arrangement I can make. But suddenly there will be a calamity, earthquake, tsunami, storm, tornado. Something can happen. So all this is, for an intelligent person can understand, actually material nature is not inert. Material nature is working and completely crushing all the plans of all the foolish living entities who are rebellious, who are demoniac. Everything is finished. Everything is finished. Especially when death comes, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. Everything is finished. However powerful the person might have been, however wealthy he might have been, however intelligent he might have been, however much good security he might have made arrangements, everything is finished. There are still foolish people who believe that there is no control. There is no control. Ultimately, there is no control. It's just a question of competition between the people who are in this world. That's all. Today, you may be more powerful than me, but I will make plans and I will become more powerful than you tomorrow. And I'll become your boss. allowed. And conveniently, they have this theory, especially the demons, the demoniac natured people. Oh, there is no life after death. Because at death, everything is finished as regards their power, their wealth, everything is over. So they think there's no life after death, everything is finished. So conveniently, they come up with this theory. Because if they are informed, oh, there is life after death, and you have to face the consequences of all the nonsense you have done. So many sinful activities these demons do while they have some so-called freedom. And then you are accountable for every sinful activity. You have to suffer in hell. So better say there is no hell. There is no life after death. Everything is finished at death. So these demoniac natured people, they don't accept the Vedas. They ridicule those who are followers of the Vedas. And they make a mockery of Vedic knowledge. And they have their own theories. And they call it so-called scientific theory. It is rational, it is logical. Vedas, they are not logical, they are not rational. So, like this, the demons, they are simply going down, 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 down. Whereas those who are divine nature, for them the arrangement is that they are, till they come in contact with the pure devotee, they are gradually elevated. But if somebody is fortunate to come in touch with a pure devotee, then by the mercy of the pure devotee, whether somebody is divine natured or demoniac natured, if they somehow accept or get attracted or become the object of the mercy of a pure devotee, then that soul actually immediately begins devotional service and is delivered by Krishna in that very life. That is a special thing. Krishna has made arrangement. So in this verse, today's verse, Krishna is telling Yogamaya that she will make arrangements for Krishna's Leela and Krishna's pure devotees to participate in Krishna Leela. But in addition to that, she's got a very big other responsibility as Durga Devi. So as Durga Devi, she is present in this world in so many different forms. And those will be mentioned in the next verse. She is known by names like Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, etc. So many names. And there are designated places, just like Prabhupada says, there are holy places for worship of Krishna, different forms of Krishna. Similarly, for different forms of Durga, there are also holy places for worshipping her. And those holy places are listed. What do they say? Shakti Pitha. No? Something like that they say, no? That is what will be described in the next two verses. So, there are these demoniac natured people or the materialistic persons who will not worship Krishna, but they'll worship Durga Devi. Why? Because as Krishna says here, you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. See, even devotees, when they worship Krishna, they may have some material desires, which they may ask Krishna to fulfill, or they may worship Krishna for fulfillment of material desires. The difference is, if somebody worships Durga Devi or some other Devata for fulfillment of a material desire, then the demigods, including Durga Devi, They will fulfill only if all the conditions for fulfillment of the desires are met. That means the scriptures describe whom they should worship, for what kind of desire, and what way they should worship, what is the method of worship, what is the austerity they have to undergo, what is the paraphernalia required for the worship, etc., etc. Everything is completely explained in the Vedic literature. So if they follow 100%, then their desire will be fulfilled, but the desire will be fulfilled in such a way that the consequences of fulfillment of the desire is not taken into consideration by the Devata. Consequences of that. No. Because in this material world, whether your desire is fulfilled or not fulfilled, nothing is auspicious. Everything is inauspicious. Because everything is ultimately simply resulting in misery. Though for the time being, it may appear like, oh, this will give me some happiness or this will give me some pleasure. But ultimately, every arrangement is meant for giving you misery, is meant for ultimate destruction, is meant for ultimate suffering. That the demigods know, but the people who worship demigods are hell-bent on satisfaction of their desires. And they have all these theories. Oh, there is no life after death. I don't have to worry about what will happen after my death. So they conveniently forget, and under illusion they think there is no suffering due to this fulfillment of this desire. I can just enjoy life without any suffering. All kinds of illusory plans they make, and therefore the demigods, they satisfy desires only if all the conditions are met, and they don't care for the adverse consequences of fulfilling the desire. There are many examples in the Bhagavatam of such foolish people whose desires were fulfilled and they got into endless trouble after that by the demigods. Whereas when Krishna's devotee, prays to Krishna for fulfillment of some material desire, Krishna will give intelligence to the devotee to understand that certain desires are not really very good for you ultimately. So Krishna will never satisfy a desire which will immediately give you some happiness, but ultimately will result in misery or suffering. Krishna will never satisfy such a desire. On the other hand, if somebody approaches Krishna with such a desire, which is not really good for the person, Krishna will actually purify the person's intelligence, by which he will give up that desire and instead he will surrender to Krishna. He will become a devotee of Krishna and with intelligence give up all material desires, not just one desire. Begins with one desire, the immediate desire that for which he worshipped Krishna for fulfillment. But then it will result in the devotee becoming enlightened about what is material desire, what is wrong with material desire. And he'll understand there is difference between material desire and spiritual desire. And then he'll give up material desires and cultivate spiritual desires and make plans to go back to Godhead, not remain in this material world trying to enjoy better facility, better birth, etc. But the foolish people, they always desire, those who have some understanding of there is a next life, even though they may not come up with the theory that there is no next life, because they desire to have a better next birth in an upper planet where there will be relatively better facilities for enjoyment as compared to the facilities on the earth. And then they want to promote themselves to higher planets for better facilities, good birth, nice bodily beauty, nice um, good amount of wealth, and uh, uh, good education, uh, good education. So with all this, they want to promote themselves to higher planets. But because they are not divine natured, because they defy Krishna, all their plans, even if they are successful, very soon, even in the upper planet, they will commit some sinful activities by which they will degrade themselves. They guarantee to degrade themselves. Whereas the divine natured people, even if they are promoted to higher planets, they become more and more enlightened. They become more and more enlightened. And in the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, everyone is just busy with self-realization. Everyone is busy with self-realization. Nobody is interested in any material enjoyment in this world because they're all enlightened by gradual promotion. But if somebody becomes a devotee, even somebody in a animal body can become a devotee. Somebody in an animal body also can become a devotee. Somebody becomes a devotee, immediately there is enlightenment. Immediately there is enlightenment. Who am I? Who is God? What are the demigods? Everything. And then their spiritual life begins. The spiritual life begins. And once spiritual life begins, it's just a question of time that they will become perfect and they'll go back to God. They're nothing to do with this material world. Some people may take more than one birth, but every facility is made by Krishna that in one birth you can perfect yourself. But along with practicing spiritual life, some residual material desires, if you don't give up, then you may have to take another birth in this material world. But still, because you are a devotee and you're practicing nicely Krishna consciousness, along with that, some residual material desires, you also desire some fulfillment, which are not exactly against Krishna consciousness. It's just like sometimes devotees, they know that overeating is not good, but then they are very much desirous of enjoying eating some nice prasadam. So sometimes they think once in a while overeating is okay. Once in a while overeating is okay. So then sometimes they overeat, and then that overeating is not just little overeating. Somehow they'll manage. Too much overeating, then their health becomes upset. And their devotional service, they're not able to perform properly. Then become very, very disturbed in the mind. Then the devotional service becomes slackened. So like this, so many complications arise, okay? Because of that, having those material desires also, and side by side, cultivating those material desires, keeping them, and thinking that somehow I can satisfy these material desires and also do devotional service. So the two don't go together. Okay? So by the mercy of the spiritual master, a devotee can understand ultimately all material desires are bad. Even the ones that are not against your devotional service, even they are bad. No material desires. So that is the standard of pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktiruttama. So, the pure devotees, they preach only pure devotional service because they don't want people to worship Krishna for fulfillment of material desires. They don't want people to approach Krishna for any material desire. So they preach this pure devotional service. So many times it is seen that pure devotees, when they preach about pure devotional service, not many pious people will come to them. And even if they come, they will eventually go away somewhere else. So, in this world, there are pure devotees. There are also devotees who are mixed devotees. Mixed devotees means they worship Krishna, they accept the supremacy of Krishna, but they also have some material desires which they don't want to give up. That also they want to enjoy. While in this body, let me enjoy some material desires, which are not very harmful for me, which are not against my bhakti. So these kind of material desires, so they will, when they approach a pure devotee, they hear, oh, no material desires. Don't bother Krishna with material desires. It's not good. So they hear that, then they go away. They go away to some other place. Then they have some other guru or some leader who's a mixed devotee. Oh, very nice. Here, my material desires and bhakti, both I can fulfill. Desire for bhakti, both I can fulfill. This is a much better place. Like this, they compromise. And they drag. Their material existence becomes, simply more and more delayed. Their going back to Godhead gets delayed. Till the time they actually understand these material desires have nothing to do, fulfillment of material has nothing to do with bhakti. Bhakti means nothing to do with material desires. So, till one comes to that realization, till then, somehow will remain in this material world and undergo the consequences of material existence. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshana. So until one becomes completely free from all material desires, or at least understands, I should aim for giving up all these material desires. Until then, they remain in the material world. Whereas pure devotee acharyas, pure devotee gurus, they never, never, never encourage anybody to fulfill their material desires. Never promise any material benefits of devotional service. Though devotional service you can engage in for fulfillment of material desires. Very easy. Like sometimes people say, if I chant Hare Krishna, will I get good health? Will I get sufficient money for maintaining my family? Oh, yes, you can. You can chant Hare Krishna and you can seek all these fulfillment of all these kind of material desires. But then as long as you're busy, fulfillment of material desires, your enlightenment doesn't happen. Your spiritual progress is blocked. Don't make any spiritual advancement. So your material existence becomes more and more and more. And that is your delay. Going back to Godhead is more and more and more increased. So an intelligent person will think, after all, this material world is a place of misery. Why not immediately go back to Godhead? Why not immediately go back to Godhead? Why delay? Why have these stupid material desires? Fulfillment. So that is pure devotional service. And Prabhupada and all our great acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, all the great acharyas, they preach only pure devotional service. Only pure devotional service. Consequently, because they preach pure devotional service, you will not find huge number of followers. You don't find very, very big number of followers for them. Whereas the other, of course, in Kali Yuga, bogus gurus get the maximum number of followers who are expert in cheating, and there are cheaters and there are cheated. People who want to get cheated. That is the maximum. But then also these mixed devotees, mixed devotee gurus, mixed devotee leaders, they also get little more followers than the pure devotee. They sometimes become popular also, very popular. They'll tell, yeah, you chant Hare Krishna, all your material desires will be fulfilled. Ever heard Prabhupada say that? Never. Pure devotees never say that. In fact, pure devotees always preach, these material desires are like poison. Visha. They are like Visha. And not just Visha. They are Vishama Visha. They are deadly poison. Because the danger is, one may completely forget about devotional service, being completely enamored by fulfillment of some material desire. Very, very risky, very dangerous, these material desires, fulfillment. So therefore, the pure devotees never preach or entertain any fulfillment of material desires. They straight away tell material desires are poison. Give it up. Deadly poison, not just poison. So like that, the Shukre Goswami is being quoted by Prabhupada, that who worships Durga Devi? People who are mad after material desires, fulfillment. They worship Durga Devi. Whereas those who are interested in pure devotional service, they only worship Krishna and nobody else. And that also they worship Krishna only for bhakti and nothing else. So that's the difference. So I'll stop here. Dantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There's one announcement. We'll be having Srila Prabhupada Ashraya test on 28th April, Sunday. For those who are interested in this Ashraya program, they can contact temple devotees for more details and make preparations for appearing for this test. Hare Krishna.
Teham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavang Sri Rupam Sagrajatam